Hey, are you here to study for our test about diversity from Neil Postman's The End of Education?
Yeah, I am. Do you want to study together?
Okay, let's start with Postman's overall ideas around diversity. He points out that people tend to lump both diversity and ethnic pride together when really they are almost opposite of each other. Diversity is focusing on a group's achievements as a whole, whereas ethnic pride is just focusing on the achievements on one's own group. What else do you think is important regarding diversity?
Well, I think that another important idea that Postman points out is that diversity is the story that tells of how our interactions with many kinds of people make us into what we are. Should we move on to the important expressions of cultural diversity?
Yes. Postman states that the most important of the cultural expressions regarding diversity are language, religion, customs, and art and artifacts. Let's start with language. Postman says that English is the most multicultural language on earth. Also, that anyone who speaks English should be grateful to people and cultures all around the world who have helped to contribute to it.
I think that an important part of language and diversity is the portion about slang. People, mostly school teachers, tend to give slang a bad rep, when really slang is the product of such people like confused immigrants and oppressed women, which makes slang a significant part of our history and culture. Another part of language that I think is important that Postman points out is that students should learn another language besides English. It will help the student learn about another culture as well as its history. Also, it seems like being bilingual is a necessity these days.
I think we have covered language. Let's move on to religion. It's pretty obvious that we don't really get taught religion in school, so I agree with Postman that it should be incorporated more throughout middle and high school. An important reason for this is because our focuses in areas such as art, science, and literature are considered with religion. How can we learn about these things when religion is left out?
I couldn't agree more. Another reason that it is necessary for a religion to be taught in school is that religions are the stories of different people in different times and places just trying to find a sense of transcendence. I think it is important for us to understand that Postman thinks that religion should only be taught to a certain degree. Also, that he wants to make sure that students are aware that there isn't just one certain truth, but that every religion is a story of what could be the truth. Should we move on to customs? I don't really understand this portion. Can you help me?
Of course. What I understand about Postman's ideas around customs are that only the customs regarding marriage ceremonies, education systems, manners, and parent-child relations should be studied in schools. He points out that almost all schools have had a day where they point out the focus of a culture's custom in the form of music, food, and dancing. He also thinks that students need to keep an open mind about other cultures' customs. Do you understand now?
Yes. Should we study about art and artifacts now? Regarding the study of art and artifacts, Postman brings up the area of museums. He thinks that students should be taught about museums, but not only art museums. There are many other museums out there that focus on science and history, for example. He points out that every museum will give an answer to the question, what does it mean to be a human being? I think that is an important question in regards to art and artifacts.
I completely agree. He also points out the three arguments about the arts, which are whether or not the canons of literature and other art forms have legitimacy, whether or not there are higher and lower levels of incivility, and whether or not schools can justify transmitting, indeed celebrating, Eurocentric culture, especially as it is dominated by dead white males.
I think the last things that we should cover are the right and wrong reasons to teach and celebrate diversity. One of the wrong reasons is that sometimes ethnic diversity can single out a group and bring upon revenge. Also, Postman points out that there tend to be too many points of view and purposes to cover. What do you think are the right reasons to teach about diversity?
Postman says that the law of diversity makes intelligent humans out of all of us. That is an extremely important reason to promote the teaching of diversity. Also, the teaching of diversity can lead to a sense of pride in one's culture and history. Do you agree?
Yes, I do. It seems to me that Postman has good reason to want diversity to be taught in school. What do you think?
I think so as well. However, it needs to be integrated carefully and only to a certain degree. Thanks for studying with me.
Thank you for helping me study. Goodbye.
Bye.